welcome to the SBC Leaders podcast. My name is Andrew McCarron. I'm the Managing Director at SBC. The mission of SBC Leaders is to bring the industry's best minds together in order to share ideas, collaborate on major issues, push innovation and elevate the overall image of our industry through the promotion of its achievements. To that end, I'm pleased to introduce Sacha Dragic, one of the founders of the major European gambling operator Superbet. Set up in 2008, Superbet has quickly become one of the most entrepreneurial companies in Romania, and last year attracted a minority investment from Blackstone to help fund that growth. Sacha, how are you doing?
Hi Andrew, thank you for your invitation. I'm doing very well.
Excellent. Could you tell us a bit more about the sort of the formation of Superbet and what were your vision for the company at the time?
So Superbet was I founded Superbet in 2008. And we started operating in 2009 with our initial goal was to survive and to become a kind of important player in Romania. And we went through a process which took us basically 4 or 5 years when we built a retail network within Romania. And we were quite confident and comfortable with our position of retail leader when the law in Romania changed and the online betting gaming became allowed. So we had to pivot and start learning how to operate in the digital world as well. And we, till 2017, we succeeded to build for Superbet in Romania also an online leadership as we had in the retail, and that was the moment when we started to work on an international part of our development.
One thing that's really stood out about Superbet, certainly in the last couple of years, is the high-level talent you've got at the C-level management, and I'm assuming that comes from investing in the online, like you say. What you say the skills are needed for sort of building out a management team in what is quite a competitive environment?
It's a good question. We had a lot of trial error in our early phase, and later on I understood that we need to basically take care and be very careful about what we're looking in the leadership team. And it was very important to have a person who is very knowledgeable, of course, but also a person who, from the cultural point of view, we feel that it's a good fit. And I spent most of my 2017 and 18 for 2 years looking for who should come to bring us to the next level, because we had a very good team, and we had a very good team in order to operate in the region. Probably Superbet had one of the best, if not the best, leadership team for operating Romania for sure, but also probably neighboring countries. But I knew that we would like to go further. We would like to become a global company, and that's why I was, basically I had a very short list with only one name, and the name was Johnny, because we knew each other from the moment when we had some kind of discussions with Paddy Power in 2015 about the potential investment of Paddy Power within Superbet. Luckily for them, luckily for me, let's say, this never materialized. But I kept contact with Johnny. Was meeting when he was coming in Romania to visit competitors. He was asking me if I would be interested to sell Superbet to Flutter. I told him that I'm not really interested, but we kept meeting together. And basically, when I take the decision in 2018 that I really need to bring someone for the next step, I focused fully on getting Johnny in. And it was long and interesting process, but at the end he joined us. So it was really very good. So in the moment when we in the parallel agreed about Blackstone investments, that we already had a more experimented global team with Johnny have put in place partially, but partially also came from some old Superbet people who was from the first days there, and also from entrepreneurs of different company we acquired in the meantime. And I think that this is something which is really for us, for that talent base, that we are trying and working hardly to build and keep Superbet as an environment where different culture and different mindset and the skill set of people can coexist and work happily together.
I mean, you've also got Ralph Toppin helping out, the former William Hill CEO. I'm assuming that as somebody who's already trod that path once, he's a good resource to tap into as well.
Yes, of course. I met Ralph for the first time in the late 2016. So I was really very, and Ralph had a very big influence toward us, and especially in speeding up our plans, because my initial plan was, okay, it took me a period of time to become a leader in Romania, and now my next 5-7 years I should focus to become a kind of regional player, opening a few more countries in the region. But I didn't really I had the global plans, but not as a priority. My priority, I was thinking that should come only maybe 5-7 years later on. And then Ralph, after we met, we agreed that he will chair our advisory board, which I have built at that time in order to help me understand better things which I didn't know. And after probably 6 or 9 months of working together, Ralph told me that I should speed up, because he thinks that Superbet have some intrinsic qualities which some of the bigger player doesn't have, and if we succeed to scale and keep those abilities, in that case we should have our say in many different markets. So that's how, after discussions with Ralph in late 2016 and early 2017, I decided to speed up the process of finding an investor to get more resources, and also to get a proper management team for a global development as well.
Excellent. I mean, you just touched upon that investment there, and you've been really sort of using that from an acquisition point of view this summer. You've recently acquired Napoleon in Belgium, and there's also a casino operator, Lucky 7. You've acquired a 60% share in that. I mean, what's your ethos when it comes to sort of looking around for potential acquisition opportunities?
Look, I think that this is just a proof that you need to evaluate in time, because if you would ask me in 2018 if Superbet will ever do an acquisition, I would tell you that it's almost impossible, because I have a very big respect for Bet365. I like very much the company. I like very much the strategy of the company. So I was a very, very big believer in a single brand and organic growth only. All the acquisition which were done when I was the CEO of Superbet was only of tech companies, which were basically to help Superbet to get technical capabilities in order to build what we want to build. But I was never thinking about acquiring an operator. I was just thinking that we need to go from the beginning. Of course, Johnny coming with much bigger experience with M&A, because it was part of his duties in Flutter. He came with this, that we should be more open-minded about acquisition. and that's how we had those early meetings. Immediately after he joined, we had those early meetings with the founder of Lucky 7, and we agreed as a kind of venture capital investments to help them start the business, which later on came to the acquisition of Superbet of the majority stake. But of course, and Lucky 7 is one of the good examples that we want to keep the entrepreneurial DNA within Superbet, and that's why Lucky 7 operate almost independently of Superbet. We are looking to see what makes sense for us to do together, but most of the important business decisions are made by Lucky 7 founders, who are still our partners and minority stakeholders, and Lucky 7 management. And that's something which I think it's very important, that we do not put our main objective in kind of synergies and integration, but more on keeping value, and value means first the talents.
Excellent. And even before the acquisition of Napoleon, I think I saw a figure of around 4,000 employees at Superbet. I'm not sure how close that was or how much it's built up since then, but how difficult is it to maintain that sort of innovative part of the company culture down all the way down to the shop floor, shall we say?
Look, it's very demanding. I mean, the temptations. I mean, not the temptation, but when you are growing the number of people, you always have a kind of bureaucracy which tends to build itself and to try to influence things, etc. And I think that this is something where Johnny and myself, it's always very high on our agenda when we have our discussions, etc. Fighting bureaucracy, which is also automatically helping innovation to go faster, and being able to see those innovation live in our products, it's something which is for us very, very important. It doesn't mean that we succeed always, but we're always really we're always looking on this, and I think this is something which we will take all of our energy to fight forever, let's say.
Sure. I mean, one of the other things, it's something that the gambling industry as a whole suffers from, I think, is sort of the importance of being fair and being perceived to be fair, where, in an environment, certainly over in the UK, the relationship between punter and bookmaker is quite adversarial at times. How do you make sure that customers sort of respects the company and what it's trying to do, at the same time is giving good customer service?
Look, at the end, I think that the market is the best judge of this. So, I mean, customers will feel if they're well respected or not, and they will basically put their money on the place where they feel that they're well respected. So I think that the ultimate judge will always be the customer. In Superbet, this is a very, very important thing, especially for me, because from the early days, together with the core management team, which we had then, which was quite a small management team, we decided that it's not that we decided this as a strategy. It was just something which we felt that is the right things to do, that we need to be fair with the customers. So with the exceptions of the situation where we was thinking that the customer have a fraudulent behavior, in any other cases, we were basically never closing accounts of the customers. We were never, of course, we was limiting on the level which we was thinking that it's rational for us. But from what I know and from what my colleagues from the trading team are telling to me, because they know that this is something very important for me, probably in any market where Superbet operate, customers can bet with Superbet far higher amounts than they could bet with any of our competitor.
I mean, I'm assuming that also helps sort of moving into new markets. Do you notice any difference in your customers in different locations with regards to how Superbet is perceived, or even the industry as a whole is perceived?
Look, it's very, I mean, we are, for us, it's very difficult to have an opinion about this because today we are just operating a Superbet brand in Romania and in Poland. And in Poland, we basically came with something which was not really adapted for the Polish market. And we also came, let's say, we made a lot of mistake. I think that when we make the analysis about how Superbet had entered Polish market, we have a lot of lessons what not to do, you know, which we have to take. And we paid a quite fair price to learn those lessons. But today we have a very, I think we have a very good management team in Poland. We have a lot of new people who joined us in the last, I think, 12 months, very knowledgeable. And we started making some good improvements in our numbers. Of course, they are still very small compared to Romania, but it's going on the right in the right discussion.
In the right direction.
Yeah, it's going in the right direction, and I really hope that the days when our good friends from STS will start getting a little bit worried about us will come sooner than they think.
Well, it's always good to have somebody to aim for. I mean, you obviously you've Poland, Romania, and now Belgium. Are there any other markets that that sort of longer term you'd like to see the Superbet brand?
Look, I mean, my plan is that if you ask me within the next 10 to 15 years, Superbet should be in any market where it's legal to bet. So I really see us going in more in Western Europe. I see us going in the other geographies of the Central and the Southeast Europe. I see ourselves going in Central and South America. I see ourselves going in the US. I see ourselves going in Africa. So the thing is that as long as I will be a significant shareholder of Superbet, we will basically open and go on the new markets. That will be something which is very constant in our future policy. I cannot tell what will happen in the next 12 months or what will happen in the next 24. And of course, it's the management team who will always choose what are the best opportunities and present to us as a board. But it's for sure, I mean, we are in the game in order to be there and to be global. It doesn't matter how long it will take us. I'm sure that we'll achieve it.
I mean, there's as you mentioned, there was a regulation change in Romania that sort of opened up online a bit more. I mean, how do you think the perception of the industry is like with politicians? And you know, is there anything that the industry can sort of come together to do to sort of balance out some of the negative perceptions?
Look, I think that it's a very delicate topic, but I think that you know, both sides have their mistakes. I think that politicians, when they are in campaigns, etc., it's always an easy target to go against gambling and gaming and betting, you know, because it's very easy to get some points through those things. On the other hand, I think that they underestimate how important it's, especially in the regulated markets, the gaming for the budget of the state, for the financial. But on the other hand, also I think that the industry also make a mistake because usually I think that the industry try too much to optimize the profits without giving back enough to the society. And I think that you need to put some money in the responsible gaming. You need to be very correct and fair that there are some problems, that there are some people who spend much more than they should, and you need to find a way how to block this and how to help them. And I think that this is much more on the gaming side than on the betting side. So I think that we need to be frank and to see that we have an issue there, and that if we'll not solve it by ourselves, then someone else will do it for us. And I also think that you need to do more for the society, in the way that if you have a sports betting business, you basically need to help sport. And that's something which we are doing in Romania, I think, a lot. We're investing and sponsoring, I think, more than 20 or 30 teams in different sports, because at the end, okay, it's not always performance marketing, it's not always return of investments, but you need to show that you do more than this. And I'm sure that in whatever market Superbet will operate, that will be something which will always take care, because I think that it's just a win-win for both sides, because you need to have also a positive story. You need to show, okay, yes, we are there, we are doing this business, and for any state it's much better if you do it regulated, because if it will not be regulated, then someone will do it fully illegally. On that, and then also from the profits which we are making, we're also giving back to society, not only through tax, but also through helping different initiatives.
Yeah, so it's kind of underlining how the industry helps enriching the ecosystem. Right, it's not just a case of, I think the term uses leeching sometimes, but it's putting money back in and reinvesting. Absolutely.
I will tell you.
Sorry, go on.
No, I just want to tell you, I think that the example how Superbet is doing this in Romania, it's quite a good example for different companies in different markets, where they should use their leadership position to give way more than what they're giving today.
It shouldn't all be based on a ROI. It's, there's wider benefits to be had from it. Yeah. Excellent. I mean, I just want to touch on your approach to sort of innovation. Obviously, you were saying when you were CEO, you were acquiring more technology companies rather than stuff that's more operational. I mean, how do you identify which new technologies sort of can make a real difference to the customer experience?
Again, it's a very wide area of discussion, because we are thinking about customer experience today, but we also have to take in consideration that new customers are coming, and that the customers which maybe a few years back were on Facebook, and then 1 year back on Instagram, are today on TikTok. Then maybe something else will happen in the next 12 or 18 months, or not, for sure something new will happen. And that's why it's not so much to think about what you can do for your today customers. It's more how you can build a mindset where people will always challenge themselves and look what we will do more. We have a new colleague who just joined us from McKinsey, who is working with a very young colleague in Bright, who is working with Johnny. I spent a lot of energy discussing with Blackstone, and we agreed that we will build a kind of Superbet VC division. And basically, we're looking on esports, we're looking on cryptos, we're looking on many different things, because on blockchain, etc. Because I just think that you just need to be innovative. I mean, you just need to become a kind of a company who will have a much wider approach than just thinking, okay, today I'm operating on that market, so I need for my customers to have a faster. This is a must, of course, but you need just to do much wider, and that's something which I think that the next direction for Superbet. I mean, even I respect very, very much Bet365, and I have a lot of respect for Flutter and other big companies in our industry. I really spend much more time looking on Netflix, looking on Google, looking on those kind of organization, and debating with Johnny what we can apply from them, what not, than looking necessarily on our peers. Or
sure. So it's at the moment it's kind of looking externally for some technological innovation, inspiration, rather than what we do sort of internally. I mean, if you're looking quite as broad, I mean, is there anything that the gambling industry does particularly well on the technological innovation front?
Yes, of course. I mean, you have a lot of companies. If we already mentioned a few times, Bet365 with their in-play product was really great. Then you have a lot of very innovative companies, Casumo, Leo Vegas, etc. On the gaming side, we know here in our region you have Betano, also very, very smart guys moving very fast. So of course, yeah, you have a lot of people, but I think our advantage is that we have a very long-term view, because since I'm the controlling shareholder and they don't have any kind of exit scenario, for me it's very important where will be Superbet within the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. So I just can afford a longer view. So I thought, okay, let's try to do better than Bet365, these kind of things. Let's try to do better than Betano, the other kind of things. But in the same time, let's also look what the big guys, real big guys like Netflix, Spotify, etc. are doing, because we never know who can kill us and from where can come the danger in the next 5 to 10 years. So I wanted to are also watching those kind of scenarios.
Excellent. Sacha, thank you very much for your time today, and good luck in the plans to acquire Netflix maybe in the future.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Thank you very much for your time. It was a pleasure.
No problem. Thank you. Bye now.
Bye.